Shout out to Ingravenvids.
You back again for another episode. This is episode number 4 of the podcast. I told y'all we just gonna have fun with it, man. Because I did say while we were recording episode 1, I said I wanted to do it once a week and every Thursday or Friday. But we on episode 4 and it's officially been a week. So y'all see how that goes. Cause like I said, I just had so much fun with it the first time we did it. And really every time we've done it, that this is they just gonna, the episodes are just gonna come out when they come out, straight up, man. I am planning on having at least one a week, but it's so fun, man. It's so fun and it's so free. I love it. I really do love it. I appreciate y'all listening, whether you listen through Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts, or it's on I think it's on 6-7 different platforms right now. Anchor. Shout out to anybody that chose to be a supporter via Anchor. I appreciate it. Thank you for people who are subscribed to the YouTube channel. There's a lot of different ways to listen to the podcast, but I do appreciate y'all genuinely supporting, man, because y'all have been doing that, and I appreciate it a whole lot, man. It is Thursday. It's 11:52 a.m. The Thursday night football game tonight is going to be between the Browns and the Bengals. We'll talk about that and the other games in a little bit. But last night, yesterday actually, it was PS5 day. PS5, they finally dropped the information that a lot of us have been waiting for. When is it coming out and how much is it going to be? So just like the Xbox One, I was about to say Xbox One, but whatever the Xbox is called, I think Xbox Series X, whatever it's called, they're going to have the digital version and also the version that has the disc. And I believe the biggest difference between the big Xbox and the small Xbox, the bigger one is more powerful, and I believe it has a Blu-ray disc or whatever. With the PS5, I'm not sure the differences between it ain't. I don't think it's a difference. I think the only difference is that one has a disc, one has a Blu-ray disc, and the other one doesn't. So I think that's it. I don't think either one is more or less powerful than the other. I could be mistaken, but I haven't heard anything like that with the PS5. So that just something to keep in mind. I know a lot of people got to pre-order theirs. I was checking around, but I didn't. The pre-orders, they start going on sale 12 a.m. I went to sleep at about 11:30, so definitely missed out on that. But it's all good. They'll have plenty in stock. I'm not one of them people. I mean, I was trying to, but it's not a big deal. I'm not one of the people, I gotta be first to have it. No, it ain't that serious. Shout out to my wife, though, because around this time, it reminds me of my wife back, when was that? It had to be 6-7 years ago, whenever the Xbox One first came out. She had surprised me. She had went on her lunch break while she was at work, and she went to go pre-order me the Xbox One. She ended up getting it. And I think she said it was one of the last ones that they had. And this was on release date. This was on release date for Xbox One. So the Xbox One that I have, it is an original from when they first came out. I haven't had any problems with it. Never had any problems with it. Watch, now that I'm saying that, now it's going to start messing up or something. No, it's going to be fine, though. But shout out to my wife, man. Super supportive. Been supportive with everything. And she's honest, too, man. She is honest. There be times where I'll be recording a video and she'll be laughing at me. If I'm stuttering or something when I'm talking, she'll be laughing at me. But it's all, we make fun of each other all the time, man. That's that for me. The way that I am with her and just with people, period, man. If I can't make fun of you, then we really not that close. If I can't talk about you to your face and make fun of you, get on you, and the same happen. If we can't do that, we not that close. That's how it is. So if we can't joke on each other, get on each other, but again, all in fun, well, all in love too. If we can't do that, then we not that close. But that's just the way that I am, man. But anyway, I do appreciate her a lot, man, cause she's been starting to listen to the podcast too. I'm sure she probably gonna be behind on episodes or whatever, but yeah, she been supporting too. Like I said, she's super supportive, man. And that her being as supportive as she's been, literally with everything. But like she'll tell me if she don't like something, because there've been some times where I've had like whether it be a logo in the past, whether it be an idea, a concept, anything, man. If she don't like it, if she think it's not the best idea in the world, then yeah, she will gladly let me know. But I appreciate that, because I wouldn't want her to just be like, oh yeah, that's good. But then she's really thinking in her mind, oh, that sucks. That's a terrible idea. I would hate that. I'm somebody that I love people that are honest and that are straight up, that are straightforward. And that's how she is when it comes to all this stuff, man. So shout out to her. Anyway, tonight we have Thursday night football between the Browns and the Bengals. Joe Burrow versus Baker Mayfield. The Browns, they got absolutely just destroyed by the Ravens last Sunday. And the Bengals, it looked like the Bengals won, but the refs called a little ticky-tacky push-off. And they have been calling some ticky-tacky push-offs this past weekend. We don't know what to expect for this upcoming weekend, but we'll see. But the Browns are taking on the Bengals, and Joe Burrow and them Bengals, they almost had it. You know, it's funny, I was watching, because, again, y'all know, if Ravens games are on, we ain't paying attention to nothing else. We're not watching any other games. We ain't worried about any other games or anything like that. But I was watching this thing called Week 1 Fails, something like that. Or Week 1 No-Nos. I think it was called Week 1 Fails, something like that. But I didn't even know Joe Burrow, he tried to pitch it to either the tight end or running back, but he tried to pitch it forward, like do a shovel pass. He tried to do a shovel pass forward, and he threw it right to the Chargers defender. Was it Ingram? It might have been. Was it Ingram? I don't even know, man. But he threw it like right to him, like that was his buddy or something. He was like, "Hey, I think you need a good statistic. I think you need an interception on your stat sheet. So let me go ahead and give you this." So he just threw it to him, and he caught. And I was like, "Oh boy, well, rookie mistake." But yeah, he led an excellent drive with the Bengals. He led an excellent game-winning drive, which probably should have been a game-winning drive. But again, they called a push-off. They called offensive pass interference on A.J. Green. And the kicker, Randy Bullock, he ended up missing it. And see, that's the thing, too. He ended up missing the field goal. Then he tried to act like his hamstring was hurting all of us. No. There wasn't nothing wrong with your hamstring, man. Because he started grabbing it right after he missed that field goal, man. I was like, no. And then on the injury report, they listed his hamstring as being injured, but they listed the opposite hamstring that he was grabbing. So that's how you know it was a lie, man. You know all that was garbage. All that, his hamstring being injured, false. It's not. Wasn't injured. And then, of course, from the Browns side, they've been just... Browns are... They... Super talented football team, man. But just always involved in just craziness. Always involved in a lot of media talk. And just... It's always something. It's always something. And now the talk of the town has been, of course, Odell Beckham Jr. A lot of Browns fans feel like they're ready to move on from Odell Beckham Jr. I feel like he has slowed down Baker Mayfield's progress and development, and that he sort of hinders Baker Mayfield's vision on the field. He hinders his field vision and how he looks at the field, because a lot of people feel like he just forces to Odell Beckham Jr. when he has a lot of other options as well. So that takes away from his game. Now, I did see that on Sunday. He was doing a lot of forcing to Odell Beckham Jr. And Odell Beckham Jr. is a phenomenal wide receiver, but you got to look at your other options as well. And Baker Mayfield may feel like, oh man, he may feel pressured from Odell Beckham Jr. or feel pressured just to get Odell Beckham Jr. involved, especially if it's a game where he just really hasn't been doing much. And Baker Mayfield may feel like, oh man, I hope he doesn't fume over with all this anger and frustration at me, and let me get him involved now. So you never know. You never know. But that was definitely it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, in this game tonight, I am going with the Browns. I want the Bengals to win, but I'm going with the Browns. And the reason that I'm going with the Browns, I think Odell Beckham Jr. is going to have a crazy game tonight in a good way. Now, I would be more interested to see what happens if he has a very bad game and he doesn't produce. And then I would be curious to see if the Browns, if they make a move after that. That would be very interesting to see how they move. If he's just a non-factor, and say for instance Baker Mayfield tries to throw it to him like 12 to 14 times, and then out of those he makes like 4 catches, but then 2 of those passes are intercepted. I would just love to see, and he only has like maybe 20 yards, something like that, 20, 30 yards, nothing crazy. I would be interested to see what the Browns do, because I really do think they could possibly move him. I really do. But we just gotta wait and see. But I do expect the Browns to take care of business tonight, and I actually expect Odell to have a good game. I expect him to go off. With all the talk from Odell week 1, with all that stuff that was going on outside of football, gross, and then with all the talk about him week 2. And I mean that funny clip that was going around about where he said, "Oh, I'm only focused on one thing," and that's what do you say, producing and winning, something like that. And then everybody was like, "Wait a minute, that's actually 2 things, Odell. Well, you need to check your math." But anyway, yeah, I'm expecting the Browns to win this one, the Battle of Ohio. So we'll see how it goes, man. It's gonna be an interesting game, as it always is in the AFC North showdown. Browns with 2 AFC North games in a row, so they almost have to win this one, because it is still early in the season, of course, and a lot of things could change, but you don't want to drop to 0-2 in a division from jump. Woo. So anyway, then we go to Sunday. The Giants play the Bears. Giants they were hanging in there for a little bit with the Steelers, and then things started to get realistic, and the Steelers pulled away. They took care of business. So now they play the Bears. Bears, who can I even say they should have lost on Sunday? Lions just didn't finish the job. Lions, they had the win. DeAndre Swift just dropped a touchdown in the end zone. And the Bears end up squeaking it out. I'm going with Bears in this one. Bears to get off to a 2-0 start. Wow, when the last time they done that? So yeah, I'm going Bears for that one. Falcons versus the Cowboys. Cowboys coming off a loss. I picked them to win last week against the Rams, but coming off a loss to the Rams, and now the Falcons. They're coming to town. Julio Jones, the leader in receiving yards as of right now after the first game. I know it's only been 1 game, but it's still fun to say. He's the leader in receiving yards. But Julio Jones, they coming to town against the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I'm gonna go with the Falcons in that one. Falcons lost to the Seahawks last week. Cowboys lost to the Rams. So both of these teams lost to the NFC West last week. Interesting. I'm going Falcons now. I think Falcons, they end up bouncing back a little harder than the Cowboys do. I think that should be a pretty fun game to watch. Another game. Browns are going to have fans tonight. Check them out. They're going to have 6,000 fans. Okay. Well, good for them. That should be fun. So it's going to be nice to hear a real crowd again. Because that was definitely missing from them games, man. Oh, boy. Anyway, next game, Lions at Packers. I'm going Packers. I think Aaron Rodgers, he has another super fun game like he had last week. The guy had over 450 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. He did his thing. But that's the norm for Aaron Rodgers. That's almost the expectation for him. But it's still, again, when quarterbacks have these great games, even though it becomes a norm for them, you still got to give credit where credit is due. Next game, Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Titans. Both of these teams, they had to grind out some wins last week. Jacksonville against the Colts, Titans against the Broncos last week, but they both ended up coming out on top, and I believe they were both away teams last week, I want to say. I know Titans were for sure. I do not remember if Jacksonville was. In this game, though, I am going to go with Jadeveon Clowney and the Titans. Man, when I watched him, because again, I only stayed up for like the first quarter in that game because it was a doubleheader Monday Night Football. Oh boy, I can't do it. I can't do it. Cannot do it. But he was getting back there, man. He was disruptive, man. And all these people they keep talking. I remember every time I bring up Jadeveon Clowney name, some people, oh, you only got 3 sacks. 3 sacks, that's what you won, 3 sacks. I say, it ain't all about the sacks, man. He is a disruptive player, and he showed that with the Titans. So I'm hoping he does well there, except when they play the Ravens. Other than that, I hope he does well there. Next game, the Vikings versus the Colts. Ooh, this is an interesting game right here. Phillip Rivers versus Kirk Cousins. Ooh, I am gonna go and Colts just lost Marlon Mack for the season. They got Jonathan Stewart, I think. I forget their backup running back's name. Well, now starter, but I'm going with the Vikings in this one. I think the Vikings defense, they'll get after it against the Colts, and the Vikings offense will as well. How did Yannick Ngakoue do last week? I didn't hear about him, so I got to check that, man. I know they lost, but still, I wonder how he did. Next game, the Buffalo Bills versus the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are actually going to have fans as well, I believe. But the Bills versus the Dolphins in Miami. Dolphins, they just lost to the Patriots, and the Bills just beat the Jets. Boy. Dolphins were hitting. No, was it Dolphins were hitting last week, man. I was looking at some of the highlights from that game. I saw Dolphins were hitting. It's a tough one, man, because it is a division game. Buffalo coming off the win, Dolphins coming off the loss. I'm gonna go with Buffalo here, man. I'm gonna go with Buffalo, just because of the defense, man. I think Buffalo ends up making a few more plays than Miami to end up getting a win in this. So I think they win by like 6. I think it's gonna be a close game, especially again it being a division game. I'm going Buffalo. Next game, the 49ers banged up. 49ers versus the Jets, banged up at receiver. 49ers, they certainly banged up at receiver too. So both of these teams know what it's like to be hurt at receiver, like literally. But I'm going with the 49ers in this one. They lost a tough one last week to the Cardinals, who I did pick to win last week, by the way. But they lost to the Cardinals last week. So I think that I think that 49ers end up getting this one, and they end up continuing the mess of what New York Jets saw. I do hope Rashad Perryman goes off, though. I do hope he goes off. Last week he didn't go off so much. I think he had like 4 catches for like 37 yards, something like that. But I think the 49ers end up getting this one. Next game, the Rams versus Philly. Philly, y'all. Philly, who gave up, 8 sacks to the Washington football team last week? And then the Rams, who took care of business against the Cowboys last week. Oh, boy. Wow, where do I go with this one? Bounce back game for Philly. Philly ends up getting it. Beware the pass rush, though. I don't know what the answer is going to be. Maybe they do a bunch of screen passes to sort of try to slow down the Rams pass rush. Because if Washington football team came after Carson Wentz like they did last week, Rams is like looking at like, Aaron Donald, Broncos, let's go, man. Let's go get them. You know they were looking at that film and like, oh, man, let's go. That offensive line, I might have to actually change my pick to the Rams. It's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna stick with Philly in this one. Not really an upset, but I'm gonna stick with Philly in this one. Even though my boy, he said don't bet against us. Well, I should have just told him, well, I'm not betting. I'm just picking. That's it. Anyway, next game is the Steelers versus the Broncos. The Broncos had a tough defeat last week to the Titans. Steelers came off of beating the Giants. I think Steelers take this one. I think they're just they're the better team, especially that defense. My goodness, man, that defense was crazy. Saquon Barkley had 6 yards or 15 yards. He had something crazy, some crazy low game. But I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one. They back at the crib too. Yeah, I'm going with Pittsburgh in this one. Next up is the Bucks versus the Panthers. Tom Brady gets to make his home debut. I'm not sure if the Bucks are having fans. And in a division game, another division game against the Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater, TB versus TB. I am gonna go with the Bucks in this one. Carolina's coming off a loss. Bucks coming off a loss. Bucks are at home. Not that it really makes a difference these days, but I do think that Tom Brady and company, they get in more of a rhythm on offense. He was doing a lot of overthrows last week. I think he thought every one of his receivers was like 7'5", but they're not. Not even Mike Evans. But I think they sort of slow down. They recuperate and they get it going again, and they take it out on these Panthers. Next game is the Washington football team versus the Cardinals. I am going with the Cardinals in this one. I think that they will just have too many weapons for the Washington football team to catch on to. I know Washington had that crazy pass rush last week, and hey, they're going to need it again, especially against Kyler Murray. But I am going to go with the Cardinals in this one. Chiefs versus the Chargers. I'm going with Chiefs in that one. I feel like the Chiefs are just they're too strong for the Chargers. Very powerful team, obviously, and then they are coming off of a long vacation. They have had 10 days of rest, and this is a late game. So yeah, I'm going with Chiefs in this one. Even if they didn't come off of 10 days of rest, I'll still go with the Chiefs in this one. Hey, I wouldn't be mad though if it was upset city. But anyway, next up, the Ravens taking on the Texans. Y'all, I know a lot of y'all already checked out the YouTube video, our preview of the Ravens versus Texans game. I did pick the Ravens to win this one. Ravens definitely need to improve on that pass rush, but somebody made a very interesting point about the pass rush. We're going to talk about that probably in the video, though. And if we don't get a chance to, then we'll talk about it on the podcast before the game. But anyway, the Sunday night football game is the Patriots versus the Seahawks. Cam Newton, Russell Wilson going head to head. This should be a really good game. I think I should be able to stay up for that one because I'll be excited to watch it because I love both of those two quarterbacks a lot. I appreciate them both a lot too. In this game, I am going to go Seahawks. Gonna go Seahawks. I think that this is gonna be the game where all those opt-outs that the Patriots had, now it's gonna catch up to them. It didn't catch up to him last week, and I didn't expect it to. But this week, I think the Seahawks end up grabbing this one. In the Monday Night Football game, I'm also interested in this one. Because it's the Raiders versus the Saints. And thank goodness it is not a doubleheader. It starts at 8:15, so it should go to about probably like 10:30. Hey, that's fine. We don't need no more doubleheaders. That was just too much for me, man. It was too much. At least put the game that I want to watch on first, so I could watch it and then go to sleep. Then I'll catch up on whatever happened in the second game the next morning. Because I ain't want to watch the Steelers and Giants. Like, I know Steelers division game, but I want to see Jadeveon Clowney and the Titans. I want to see Jadeveon Clowney, what he would do, how he would do it, and he did it well, man. But I'm glad it ain't no doubleheader. So in this game, I'm picking the Saints to get a road victory. Even though it should be a quiet road victory. I'm not sure. I don't think they're having fans there at Allegiant Stadium. Oh, is this their home opener? No, they played at home last week, or did they play in Panther Stadium? Let me see right now. The game. Oh no. Oh, okay. They played at home. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. I can't tell. Oh, no. The Panthers were at home. Okay. Yeah, the Raiders were away. All right. Yeah, I just saw it. I just saw the little, it's, okay, perfect. All right. So, anyway, those are my picks. Again, we'll see how close I am to getting them all right or getting them all wrong. As long as I'm right about the Ravens one, that's the main one I care about. If everything else goes wrong, that's fine. But as long as I get the Ravens one right, hey, then I'm good to go after that, man. Anyway, this week in football so far, it's been pretty quiet. Mohamed Sanu, he signed with the 49ers like we talked about earlier. They've been having injuries at wide receiver. And it was a quiet signing. It was a very quiet signing. He didn't hear too much about it. Michael Thomas from the Saints, he's supposed to be out for a couple weeks with his high ankle sprain. Not Georgia local. Well, he signed to whose practice squad did he just sign to? I want to say Vikings, but I don't remember for sure. But there hasn't been much news this week in the NFL, so it's been pretty quiet as we've all been anticipating week number 2. I mean, I think the biggest news, again, like we talked about earlier, is the whole Odell Beckham Jr. thing, what's going on with him. And, of course, there's some times where media makes things bigger than what it actually is. But, again, Mike Francesca, I got to look at his name again, but he was the one that he said that he heard that the Browns were looking to move Odell Beckham Jr. Now, Benjamin Albright came out and said that's false. But, hey, we'll see when we see. We will see when we see, because whether it's true or whether it's false, things can change quick, just like that. Things can turn around just like that, and you just never know in the NFL. NFL stands for not for long. Odell Beckham Jr. knows that better than anybody. He certainly knows that. He was with the Giants for his beginning of his career. Got the second contract, a fat second contract, a record-breaking second contract with the Giants. Second year into his second contract, boom, he's traded. Just like that. Just like that. And we've seen it, again, we talked about this in a recent video that we did on a YouTube channel, but how you just never know. Just because you're a first-round draft pick does not mean that your spot is safe. It does not mean that you won't be traded. Look at Josh Rosen. He got traded. And again, Odell Beckham Jr. got a record-breaking contract, got traded the second year into that contract. Like, teams are willing, they're willing to take the loss financially. They're willing to take that loss financially if they just want to get rid. Look at the Ravens with Earl Thomas. If they really want to get rid of you, they will take that loss financially just to move you. So, it's life. Life in the NFL, right? It is what it is. So, anyway, that's that. This was a fun episode. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for being willing to listen to me just rant about really whatever. Really whatever. Oh, and thank you all for 30,000. I can't even talk right now. 30,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. That is definitely a blessing, man. I'm just super grateful, man, for the opportunity that you all have presented for me. It has just helped me out so much in so many different ways. Just being able to do this as a job, because it is a fun job. It is a challenging job because it is a lot of work. But I do appreciate you all supporting and helping out, because it allows me to be here with my family, with my wife Carter, while she's working at home. It allows me to help out more in my congregation. It just allows me to it just allows me a lot of different opportunities that I wouldn't have had as much access to them if I was at my normal job or my job before or something like that. And I really do appreciate it a lot. And just to anybody like that, man, I know somebody asked me the other day, they just sent me an email about what they should do to like start, and I know some people just think about diving right in full time. I would never suggest that. I would never suggest that. If you got something that you do on this, and it ain't even got to be with YouTube, man. It could be with whatever, man. We're trying to start your own thing. Just do it as a hobby, man. Do it as a hobby. Do it on the side when you get some extra time. Do it on the side or whatever. And you never know. You never know what could happen. You never know what could happen. You never know if it could end up blowing up. You just never know, man. So if you got some extra time, some free time, do it on the side or whatever, and just do what you can consistently. If you like baking, if you got a regular job but you really like baking, okay, well bake on the weekends or something, or bake on your off days. Give it to some people, let them try it out, and then hey, you can start selling it. Hey, you $5 for 3 cookies. $5 3 cookies. There you go. Then you starting off small, and you never know. And word of mouth is so important. Word of mouth is it's everything, man. It's everything, because one person tell this person tell that person. You just never know, man. So anyway, I appreciate y'all for listening. Thank you for just supporting so much. Make sure y'all check out the YouTube channel. It's Ingravenvids. That's where all our football stuff is. And of course, thank you for listening to this podcast. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. We're about to start having guests on here in the very, very, very immediate future, like maybe even by the next episode. But we're gonna start having guests on here, so that should be fun to hear some different people's perspectives on some different things. So I love y'all. I appreciate all y'all. Thank you, and we out. That's my homie, ain't that right engraving? Shout out to Ingraven.